Let's look at some philodendron! Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rose. And in this video, we're going to look at all of the philodendron in my collection, including Vicky and Caspar. I did a few polls both on here and on Instagram, and they showed that Hoya and philodendron you want to see the most of. So I thought we would start with these. And we're actually not going to start with Vicky, but in my kitchen. Let's start with this philodendron pendatum. It is not looking great right now. I think it's cold damage because this is sitting in my north-facing window, and it gets really cold because the windows are single pane glass, I think it's called. I don't know. But yeah, I grew this from cuttings. This one seems to be doing really bad, this small one. But the other two, I mean, this is what I had, and then these stems grew all the way up to here. So that's done really well, even though it is sitting in my north-facing window. I'm not getting too much attention. Oh shit, thrips. Fuck. Do you see them? By the way, I get a lot of questions what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Of course, there's so many here. How did I not see that before? Oh my god, I'm so happy this is sitting in my different window. And I'm touching them all. Gross, gross, gross. Okay, this plant is gonna go in the bin. And I know that might sound very dramatic, but I don't care. This I got as free cuttings. It is covered in thrips. Throw it out. Even with, I have the little baggie in here that gives it mites to eat the thrips, but this plant is covered. Let's throw it out. I've been getting a lot of messages on Instagram as I posted a bit of that footage, and I know that you do not have to throw away a plant if it has thrips. You can definitely treat. There are different ways. You can look that all up, but I just thought that would be a funny video to post. I'll show it to you here with the music as well. Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. Anyway, I just wanted to say, yes, I'm aware that you can treat thrips, and I will make videos about this soon as well. For now, if you want more information, go to that video on Instagram, and below in the comments, a lot of people have written down what they do against thrips. So if you want some inspiration, check there. And hopefully you respect my decision to not do that and not spend energy on a plant that I don't really care about and just throw it out. Next. This is Mushu. He lives upstairs. This is my ring of fire. I've had him for a little bit over a year now. And as you can see, he is very big. I actually love the variegation on this. There's either these little dots that we've got here or bigger splatches like this leaf. This is my new favorite leaf, kind of. But also big sectoral patches, which is why I chose this one. These are some of the older leaves. And he, as you can see, he had a lot of beautiful variegation. These are two plants in the pot, two stems. And as you can see here, I bought it, the stems were still quite thin, but then they became thicker and thicker. And in this one, actually, when I started feeding liquid gold leaf, it split into two parts, which is not normal. But as you can see, this second part didn't really continue to grow. One part did though, luckily, so it wasn't necessarily useful energy, but it definitely did that. And it's got a lot, I hope I can show you this, a lot of little activated nodes, so that when I'm thinking of propagating this in spring, those will be fun to come out and grow. He used to be one of my favorites, but because he is so big and kind of hard to put somewhere, he's lost a little bit of my love, because where do you put something like this? I mean, now it's here, but normally I teach yoga here, so then it's in the window. But when we want to close the curtains, it's super annoying if he's there. So that's why I'm thinking of either propagating him or selling him as a big plant. But yeah, I kind of don't want to, because he's Mushu and I love him, and I found him at an intratuin, one of my first kind of rare plant finds in a garden center in one of the videos. Actually, if you haven't seen that video, check it there. Of course, there are also some philodendron that live in my tent. Some of my favorites, actually. Ooh, it's so bright. Currently, it's 87. Is that right? 78? 87% humidity and 26 degrees Celsius. So that's really nice and warm. The philodendrons that we've got in here, let's see. This, I'm going to show you these quite quickly because I just recently did a tent tour. So you may have seen these already. Hold on. These are my melanochrysum propagations. I recently cut up my melano. And these were 4 one-node cuttings that had quite a lot of aerial roots growing into the moss pole. So actually not really aerial roots, they were growing into the moss. So I thought I will try and grow him like this. Then back here, we've got a few adorable verrucosums. I hope you can see these. These are tiny one-node cuttings that I took off Vicky because she was struggling with spider mites. And they are doing really well. Actually, this one here on the left has got 2 activated points from one node. So that is very cool. The first node that came out actually also started to grow a separate stem thingy. And the leaves are still tiny, but I think they're going to grow quite big quite quickly. Another one of those. Can we get this out without throwing stuff over? Yes. Another one of those here, but these are growing in moss. A little bit more annoying because I don't know how to grow stuff in moss. Let's open this and see. So one is okay, but this one definitely rotted, see? Maybe too wet. And this one, I don't know. So that's the thing. The moss is not necessarily super wet, it's moist. But can we get this out? Oh, the bottom of the stem is still okay. But this is definitely, the node has rotted, so that's gone. I don't know about this one. That's starting to rot from the bottom up. Maybe that's why it's not happy. Try and cut the rotting part off and see if that still wants to continue growing. This last one looks okay. It is yellow, but it's still solid, so it's not rotting. This actually doesn't look great, so I'm gonna pot that up in a different way. Maybe not in a plastic baggie anymore. I don't know what's wrong with this one. We'll see. Then 2 very adorable things. This is one of my Caspar Florida Ghost propagations that looks very, very white, but still very adorable. So small. Second leaf is about to open. That's really nice. A Florida Ghost propagation. Obviously that's not doing as well. This is rotted, so I can reuse this pot now. The next one I took out already because it was a little bit hard to do with one hand. This is one of my pink princesses, the first propagation I took actually. And it's just about opening this new leaf. Doesn't look like it has a lot of pink in it, as this whole plant actually has almost 0 pink in it, only the older leaves. But that's okay. It's still very pretty. Whoop. Don't do this at home. Yeah, that's why I put these in the tent in the back where I cannot touch them. I'm just too tempted to touch the new leaves and mess them up. The other one I've got in here is this one. Actually just opened a new leaf without any of my touching it. And there is a little bit of pink on there and a little spot on the back as well. Not super exciting like this leaf was. Sorry, I'm shaking a little bit. But still, it's rooting actually out of the pot. That's funny. Very enthusiastic growers, these ones. They've been really fun to propagate. But yeah, pink princesses. Hold on, I just threw my Raffi over. Are you okay? Yeah, you're fine. So another philodendron I've got in here is my big melano, which I actually propagated after filming the previous video where this was in the tent video. So this is the top cutting that is opening a new leaf right now. Looks a little bit stuck, as you can see. Even in a tent with 80% humidity, these philodendron get stuck. And then this is the baby part of the plant. I came with these 2 leaves for sure. And let's see if the top is growing. This is the top leaf of where I cut it. And it was hiding a little bit in the moss, so it's a good thing that I opened this up to check it for you guys. I don't see new growth yet, but that's okay. I'm gonna make sure that this is a little bit more open now so that it doesn't get suffocated in the moss. When trying to pot it up, I actually accidentally pulled a leaf off, but that does show us now that the node has been activated. Can you see? So there is gonna grow hopefully a new stem of melano. And then next to it is my top cutting. So yay, that's so cute. And it's now safe and sticking out, so it has a bit more space. There's a few more here all the way at the bottom of the tent. I'm not gonna take them all out because I recently showed you, like I said, this is my micans, which after the previous video I repotted, and look at those aerial roots. This plant is amazing. Then we have a few more Philodendron Florida ghosts. This one is still very, very white. It's growing in moss, the only one that is in moss. And this node has not done anything for a really long time, so I'm happy it is growing. But I would like it to go a little bit more green. They're all like their daddy. Very, very white. This one is actually pretty amazing. This is also a tiny Florida ghost, but as you can see, maybe you can see better if I put them together. This one actually is turning green. That is great news for all my Caspar babies. It is possible, he can survive. And the first leaf that came out here is actually pretty mature already in shape, as you can see, compared to this first leaf, which was just a little round one. This one is more happy, definitely. So fingers crossed for this one. Once they start to do well, I'm gonna pot them all together and have a nice full Florida ghost. The last one is Caspar Original. This is the mama stem. These green leaves were on it as I got it, and the new growth point has put out this leaf, which looks like it is turning green. Great news. And it has quite a funky shape. Look at that. Very cool. This may be a slight rip from my care. Not quite sure. And the next one is growing here. And then on the back there, do you see this? There's a tiny little node that's kind of lying on top of the soil that is also putting out a leaf right now. It is a little bit stuck. See if we can help it out. Don't do this at home. There we go. So this is going to be a very pretty focus, very nice leaf, even with this being so wobbly. I think I said before in a different video, they want to be solid. They want to feel solid. So I might give that some support today. And that's it for all my philodendron upstairs. We're now in my living room. We have a few more philodendron to go. Let's start over here. This is my philodendron scandens, or heteroecium. It's a little bit hard to show you because it's so big, but it's the basic heart-shaped leaved philodendron. I don't know. It's sitting a little bit behind the Hoya, so that's why it's harder to see. Maybe this helps. But the Hoyas are also very pretty, so that's okay. So that's a very basic one that I still own. I really like it still, although it does, I don't know if it's happy here, so I might either move it or give it away. Here we've got my Philodendron tortum. I'm just gonna turn it around so you can see it better. So this is such a funky looking plant. I never really got it until I got it. Until I actually got it into my home. I am checking them more carefully for pests. So that's why you see me up close a little bit more. I got this from Kekieki, and when I got it, I noticed how beautiful this is. And I fell in love. But the new leaf that I had coming out here, I think it wasn't getting enough light. And so it browned and it died off. And this is the next one that is still quite yellow, but I think it's still viable. So hopefully the next one will survive. But yeah, Philodendron tortum. Very funky, cool looking plant. Then at the top here, we've got my Philodendron Prince of Orange, which I'm also gonna take down to inspect. Because this has previously had thrips. It used to live next to the other philodendron that I just threw away, the pendatum. But this one I've been more focused on putting the fresh bags in with the thrips eaters. So I think this one is fine. It was a little bit more Prince of dark orange or dark red because it wasn't getting enough light in my north-facing window. That's why I moved it down here to my south-facing window. And as you can see, the new leaf has an amazing color. It got a little bit stuck, so there's some damage on the leaf there, but it looks like it's going to be a good one. And I'm excited because this has not grown a lot for me. I did get it in fall, so a little bit later in the year. Maybe that slowed it down, but hopefully it will pick up now that it's getting a little bit more light. Look at that. That color is amazing. I hope it will get even more orange on the next one. Woo, yeah. Oh, and this pot, I've showed you before, but this is a Elho pot with the, you can't really see the colors on camera. It's even more bright and beautiful. These are from recycled plastic from the Amsterdam canals, and every pot is different. So you see a little bit of the pattern in there. These are so beautiful. They are amazing. Thank you, Elho, for sending them to me. These were gifted. And here we have Jane the Birkin. And I actually completely forgot to film her that day. So this is a few days later. She's been doing okay. Every time I put her in my south-facing window to get a little bit more white, she gets very, 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 very white. And then when I move her back, she slowly starts to get a little bit more green again, like this one. But for some leaves, it was too late. This one started to brown and die off. As you probably have seen on my other content as well, if a leaf stays too white or too variegated, the plant might kind of throw it out, like throw it in the garbage, because it doesn't bring anything into the plant. So that's what happened with this one. This is actually a very exciting plant now because recently it started to move from having the leaf growing out of the previous leaf. It started to make cataphyls. So this is a petiolar sheath where the plant comes out of, and this is a cataphyl. So it's just a little bit of a cover basically that helps the leaf come out, and then it can come out safely. So here is the next one coming out. Sometimes, hi Max. Hi. You want to be famous on YouTube again? I love her. So sometimes these plants kind of revert back to something. This is a baby plant on the side. As you can see here, the red line on the petiole turned into a partly red leaf. Apparently this is because they are grown or like mutated from a Congo, Rojo Congo, red Congo, I don't know. So that's why sometimes they don't look the normal way. They turn back to partly the other way, which is kind of cool to see. But yeah, I preferred it to look a little bit more white than this, but don't overdo it on the light because then it looks like that. Here's one that I have not showed to anyone before. This is one I got from my friend Micha, and it is a cutting of a Philodendron burle marx variegata. As you can see, the leaf does not have a lot of yellow in it, a lot of variegation. There's the new growth. Can you see? I put a thrips bag in here because I remember him saying that he used to have thrips, just to be sure. But these can grow quite randomly into a lot of variegation and then into not much variegation. So, and he even told me if this one doesn't get nice variegation, I will get a new cutting. So that's very generous. And I actually really trust these mites now, which is very nice because I used to be always so worried about pests. And now I'm a little bit more chill. These are from BioBest, which again, I got as a leftover from Maika. And the bug that is in there is a cucumeris. And yeah, this is just sitting over there on the mantle right now so that it's a little bit isolated from the rest of the plants. Just to be sure. In the terrarium, we've got a lot of pink princesses as well. I've showed you this in the video I did on the terrarium tour, which you can find right there. But there is 1, 2, 3, 4 propagations that are growing. And then there is one mama plant with a few pups, which is actually opening a really nice, a lot of pink on that leaf that is opening. Can we focus on that? See? Sorry for the light, that just happens when you film. That's all the philodendrons in my terrarium though. 2 more to go. The first one is Vicky. Vicky is in 2 pots down here. This is the 2 top cuttings that I potted up, and they are growing. They do have some damage still, maybe from the spider mites that they've had before. I have bugs in here against thrips and against spider mites. So those spider mites ones are from a different brand actually, from Koppert, and I got them through a Dutch website called Entocare. They seem to have worked quite well, but I will need a refresher because they are quite persistent in this plant. I seem to really like the velvety leaves, and as you can see, it looks very sad now. Hopefully you can see there's damage everywhere. This is another leaf that opened up while it had pests, so that looks very sad. And yeah, but overall they are growing, the two top cuttings, so that's nice because they keep the big size of the leaves. The propagations that you saw upstairs are tiny compared to this. And then this is the two stems of the mother plant. Here's one, here's the other, with a growth point, but nothing happening yet. And this one was the one stem that I didn't cut. It was the, if you believe it, this was the shortest stem that Vicky had left. But now it is obviously the tallest. Let's help her out a little bit. She got a little bit stuck. Just checking if there's no bugs on there. Again, you can see little dots on the leaves, which is most likely from spider mite damage, and a little bit of damage because of the bags that I hung up on these leaves. This one looks pretty good. I don't see much damage or holes. So she's gonna be okay. This was the latest leaf before the one that's coming out now. But yeah, Vicky has had a rough time this year. Just like me and just like all of us, really. Reflecting life in 2020. Let's head over to the last one. The last philodendron is sitting next to the terrarium, but we're just gonna move him over so that we get a good view. I'll move the bag away as well. So this is Caspar. This is the top cutting that I took, so the leaves are still really big, and actually this leaf has turned green, which I am so relieved about. Again, I am investigating for pests, for thrips, but it is really starting to turn quite dark. That is awesome. I'm so happy that this survived. A few leaves did die off in the process of propagating this, and I think I might also lose this one because it is still very, very white. We don't see much green at all on this one, although the tips are a little bit green. And this one as well. But then if you look at the one that came out after, that is a lot more green. So that gives me such good hope that this is gonna keep growing, because I love the shape of these big leaves. And obviously the smaller propagations, they are gonna take some time before they reach this. And then this is the next leaf that is finally doing something again. After I repotted, he took a little bit of time to reset, but it's starting to really come out now. And it's sitting next to the terrarium so that it gets some light, but not too bright, because that was the issue with all the white leaves dying off. In case you missed it, you can check that video here. It's called Ghost Stories or something, Melting Ghosts. The story of the melting ghosts. That's it. But this one is no longer melting. Yay! My best friend Caspar. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments below which philodendron you like the most. And if you have one that is still on your wish list, I personally would really, really like to try some of the hybrids, like the Splendid and the Glorious, and also Gloriosum I still don't have. So there is still some wish list items, but I am really happy with the ones that I do have. They are growing well, they are surviving all the stuff that happened to them. So please leave a thumbs up on this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And a huge thank you to my YouTube members. We have 2 now. Super excited about you guys. If you're watching this, please see the private messages that I posted on the community, because I posted a link there for you guys to join the Discord so you can chat with us. And to my patrons, we're doing our next Zoom Patreon call this weekend, and I'm super excited to chat with everyone again. I love you guys so much, and I thank you guys so much for your support. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon. Ooh, and I hope you're enjoying Vlogmas. If you have any requests, please leave them in the comments below, because I'm open to all requests. Thanks so much, guys. Bye!